Hey guys, so, oh my gosh, always the damn echo. So I am going to my grandmother's for lunch today. I'm just gonna be getting ready, and I haven't done a chit chat get ready with me type of video in a while, and there was actually something I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's been like raining for the past 3 days, so I've just been stuck inside, and so therefore I've just been watching like a shit ton of YouTube. I couldn't help but notice that a bunch of videos and things are posted between Jason Nash and Trisha about their breakup. The only reason why it struck a chord with me is because of the reason for the breakup. Basically, it was all due to the fact because Trisha is overweight, she eats too much. A lot of people are sympathizing with her because it has happened to a lot of us girls where a guy has broken up with us because of our appearance. I honestly don't really know like 100% what's going on, but I posted on Twitter the other day that it really reminded me of a situation that I went through not too long ago with a previous boyfriend. I never really talked about this guy on my channel. I never really talked about our breakup because it was painful for me and I wanted to forget about it. I made one video, it was called He Broke Up With Me or something, and I did not really talk too much about the circumstances surrounding the breakup at all. I just said that he broke up with me and then I kind of moved on. It was like a very, very mature breakup video. And I don't hate this person. I don't have any ill will or bad feelings towards this person. I've spoken to him here and there in the past like 3 or 4 months, and there is no animosity between us in any way. But I wanted to talk about the breakup with you guys because it's been some time since it's happened, and it's one of like the shittiest things that happened to me in recent memory, other than me relapsing and dealing with my illness and everything. So I'll tell you guys a little bit of background about this person. So I met this guy on Bumble. He was in the medical profession, and for me that was really, really comforting and made me feel safe because, as you know, and if you don't, let me preface this by saying I have a rare blood disorder. It's very serious, and I was in remission for a little while, but I actually relapsed. But it is a life-threatening illness, and I have a very severe form of it. But that's all I'm gonna say. If you guys wanna know more about it, I have videos about this particular disorder that you can watch, and I'll link those down below. The time that he came into my life was when I was very, very ill, and I was on a lot of different medication. I was basically on like the pill form of chemotherapy, and I was also on a couple other drugs which gave me some really, really nasty side effects, such as weight gain. I was on steroids. Some of the drugs caused my skin to turn a yellowish tinge. My eyes also turned yellow. I don't know if you guys noticed in some of my previous videos, and because of the nature of my illness, I couldn't really work out, and no matter how healthy I ate, it was really, really hard for me to stay in shape. And I'm not saying I gained like a ton of weight, but I did gain like maybe 10 pounds over the course of like 6 months, and was very, very hard to maintain that nonetheless. But he always made me feel very, very confident, always told me how pretty I am and how lucky he felt, and would always do anything to try and impress me. So we were together for about 3 months, and things between us were going pretty well. But I noticed towards the end of our relationship, he started acting really, really distant and strange, and it was stressing me out because during that point in time, I was set to have a huge 6-month follow-up meeting with a team of doctors in Washington, D.C. to discuss my progress and to discuss whether I would be needing a bone marrow transplant. I can't stress to you guys enough how big this appointment was going to be. I was gonna have a ton of tests done, and this was like the big kahuna of my doctor's appointments. And I thought that him and I had gotten close enough that I could involve him in this, and so I invited him to come with me to this meeting with my doctors, and he agreed. We set up and arranged a hotel, and I felt like this was gonna really bring us closer together. But I did notice that like the days leading up to us leaving to go to this doctor's appointment, he was just like really distancing himself from me, and it was worrying me, and I wasn't sure if he was just stressed out from work. He worked long hours and he was always stressed out, so I didn't want to get on his case about it or anything like that. Then eventually one day I kind of just broke and I was like, what's going on? You're acting really, really strange. Can you just tell me what's going on? And if there's something wrong, I'd like to know before we go on this really big trip together. and he kind of finally fessed up to me, and he said, I don't even want to say it because it hurts me to even say it on camera. And he even said it's like the most disgusting thing he's ever said to somebody, but he basically told me that he can't stop looking at other women and thinking about them and comparing them to me, and that I'm not as hot as them, and that he'd rather have sex with them. And then he's like, well, I don't know if I can stay faithful to you. And I was just like, oh my God, what? And he's like, well, you're sick, you can't go to the gym. I know it's really hard for you to keep in shape. And I was just like, is this for real happening right now? Is this really being said? I've never had anybody say anything like that to me ever. I've dated some pretty, superficial, crazy guys before in my past, but never had anybody say anything like that to me. And then right after he said it, I could tell he regretted saying it. So he kind of tried to take it back, and we smoothed it over, and I was like, okay, we're gonna be fine. We're still going on this trip together. And as soon as I got off the phone with him, I was like, wait a minute, this is so fucked. I cannot believe that he just said this to me. So I called him back, and I just sealed the deal. I was like, okay, I'm not going with you, and we're not getting back together, and please don't talk to me again. So, you would have thought that it ended there. I went to my doctor's appointment in Washington, D.C. with my friend Brad instead. It ended up being a really, really great trip. We had a fun time. We stayed at a really cool hotel. I got some good news, and the doctors basically said that I was in remission and that my treatment was working, and that no new cancer had developed in my bone marrow, which was a huge relief. And so I got back to Connecticut, and then he proceeded to try to text me for a week straight, and he would send me these really, really heartfelt, emotional text messages I'm so sorry, I fucked up, all these texts along those lines of that. But I just at that point felt, no, he didn't just make me feel ugly, disgusting, belittle me, made me feel worthless. He also did it during such an important and crucial time in my life when my health was very much so up in the air. So I felt that was unforgivable. But then one night I decided to text him back, and that led one thing to another, and then he ended up at my place, and then yeah, we ended up getting back together for literally a week because I don't know, I just felt I needed a little bit more closure. I guess I just needed to see him a couple more times to figure out what the fuck happened, and just to maybe make myself feel better because my ego was a bit bruised. No, it wasn't the same after that, and I noticed myself starting to starve myself. I started to binge. The last time I spoke to him, I told him that the things that he said to me really, really messed with my self-esteem. They made me consider doing dangerous things to my body. And I said that I don't think he's the one, and I'm sorry. And then he kind of agreed with me, and he kind of agreed that he was a piece of shit. And then a month later, he actually texted me, and he really, really apologized, and he said that I am beautiful and that there's nothing wrong with me, and that in fact it was himself and his life that he struggled with, and perhaps that's why it came out this way. And I appreciated his reply to me. I appreciated the closure, and I know he had his own issues. And so that's why at the time I didn't go ahead and make some crazy angry breakup video. I just approached it from a level of understanding that he was going through shit of his own as well. Maybe more psychologically than physically, whereas with me it was much more physically than psychologically. And yeah, and it just showed me that you need to 100% love yourself before you can love anybody else. It is so hard to show love and to be a loving person and to be in a healthy relationship when you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself. Appearance isn't 100% everything, because it's so much more important to be happy and healthy. And I can't stress that enough now in my life. I've dealt with so many health issues, and it honestly doesn't matter how you look when you feel like shit and when you're basically dying. And I guess I'm gonna bring this back around to the whole entire Trisha and Jason video that I saw, and pretty much just say that I think both of them need to work on themselves. They were both at fault in some way. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I'm gonna go finish getting ready but I just really wanted to talk about that experience because I never did before, and I feel comfortable enough now to talk about it, and enough time has passed by that I can tell you guys the story. Because sometimes when things happen in the moment, you're just feeling so many things, you don't really think everything through, and I didn't want to say anything in haste or in the heat of the moment that I didn't really mean. And now that like so much time has passed by, I can look back on this experience and learn something from it and just be more rational about it. So yeah, if you guys have had a similar experience, it would definitely be awesome if you shared it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face because that makes you cooler some shit, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.